Manchester United slapped for 3 by Liverpool in their final pre-season game in America. Lots to unpack, lots to talk about. I think in terms of both clubs, really, as we are now getting very, very close to the new Premier League season beginning. But of course, hit the like button, make sure you're subscribing, and make sure the bell notification button is turned on as well. Liverpool fans will, of course, be jubilant. A little bit of banter, a little bit of bragging rights. It's always nice to win these games. Disappointed with the loss, but some key positives to take from this as a United fan, and certainly some areas for concern that we need to address as well. I want to start with Liverpool, though, as the victors tonight. And on maybe 4 or 5 different shows that I have done in the past couple of months, I have consistently had Liverpool fans tell me that I'm wrong to suggest that they should be vying to win a Premier League title this season. And I stand by it. I think they should. This is a team that was in a title race last year. This is a team that won the League Cup last year. This is the team that only 2 seasons ago was a couple of results away from pulling off a quadruple. I still think they've got to sign some individuals, Liverpool, there's no doubt, because Man United did at times tonight carve them open and create chances. It was just some fine goalkeeping that stopped Man United from putting the ball in the back of the net. But they have Van Dijk, and they have Robertson, and they have Trent and McAllister, all to come back to this team, and Diaz as well. So they've got that strength to come in. But I think Liverpool need to invest. But my belief about Arne Slot is very simple. I actually trust the people running Liverpool, and I'm talking about the Edwards and co. And my fervent belief was always that no matter how good Jurgen Klopp was, they would look at him as the manager and they would find somebody where there would be a huge overlap. And what I mean by that is someone that can look at this squad and say, I can get my style of football out of this squad. The profiles of player, the personalities, the behaviors, the win mentality, I can utilize that and help it continue to flourish. And yes, it's only pre-season, so you can't read 100% into everything. But this Liverpool team still looks slick. There are actually players out there like Harvey Elliott, Mo Salah. They look like they've got the bit between their teeth. They look as though they're really hungry. I thought I was impressed again tonight with Carvalho in the same way I was when he played Arsenal. And I've had a lot of stick from Liverpool fans have sort of said to me, how dare you say we should be in the title race? Stand by it. I think you're an excellent team. I think you've got lots of world-class players. I think you've got lots of top players. I think you've assigned a very, very good coach that's been appointed by some of the best people in the world at running football clubs. So I don't think it's a weird expectation to talk about this Liverpool side, who has predominantly been in title races for the majority of the last 5 or 6 seasons, who have been a consistent threat in the Champions League when they've been in it. And if they had 2 or 3 signings between now and the end of the transfer window, as many Liverpool fans are suggesting, they could do something special next season. They could. I'm not saying they will, but I'm saying they could, because they are a really good team. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. And there's a comment that came through here earlier that said, it started off, and I'll read it to you. It says, a manager change is a lot bigger than getting in sporting directors. United is no longer a big club if you don't aspire to win the league after spending 200 million net every summer window. I'll tell you why that's important. I'll come back to that bit in a minute. He then says, come on now, Terry, go and tell me how Liverpool should be in the title race when they have a whole new manager, but dismiss United being in the title race because they have a 25% stakeholder. Man United weren't a title contending team last year or the year before. In fact, not one single year in the last 11 have they been genuine title contenders. The reason why I believe Liverpool, I know you're a Liverpool fan, you're trying to play down your club, but which is weird. You were title contenders last year. You haven't suddenly fallen off. Yes, you brought in a new manager, but it's been picked and plucked out by the people that helped create the era that Klopp had. So I don't believe they're just going to pick someone who's the complete opposite to Jurgen Klopp. I find it an astonishing jump to say that I should aspire. I do aspire for Man United to be in a title race, but that isn't realistic to believe we can go from where we were last year to winning a Premier League. Even if we got a new manager, I don't believe we'd be changing because there's so much change at our club. So I do find this a little bit of a weird flex. Liverpool fans acting like Man United should be in a better position this season than them. That is crazy to me. That is downplaying your own club. Me saying I think you should be in a title race is praise that you are a very good team. And what I don't understand is why praising Liverpool is offending some Liverpool supporters. You need to make that make sense to me personally. Now, when it comes to Manchester United, it was a weird game to assess as a United fan. Obviously disappointed to lose. And I'll start with some of the negatives. I thought Casemiro had a stinker. Absolutely sold. He got sold and sent to the shops for the first goal. He made a number of other mistakes in the game. There was also a great cross that comes in. If he doesn't get that flick on, I think Scott McTominay buries it. But I thought it was a poor performance from Casemiro overall. And the reason why I've got Ugate's face on the overlay is because we need to go and get that man tomorrow. We need to add. Man United need new midfielders for the start of this season. And I'll be honest with you, if we really want to progress this season, I think we need new midfielders, plural. I think we need at least 2 of them to come in. But at the very least 1. We need 2, but at the very least 1 is what I meant to say. I thought we lacked a lot of clinical edge tonight. Mason Mount should have scored, but he had a poor first touch. Sancho had a header from a few yards out, which he should bury. McTominay should score. Ethan Wheatley should score. There was a cross that comes over where Casemiro, if he hears a shout behind him, there's a tap-in header for us. And there's probably a few I'm forgetting about. Rashford's shot from distance was quite a way out, even though there was a fair amount to aim at. Man United absolutely should have put 2 or 3 goals tonight past Liverpool. Some poor finishing and some very good saves. The only element why that's bothering me, even though we're in pre-season, is our lack of clinical edge last season damaged us in a loss of football matches. So I hope that this doesn't become a pattern for this campaign, even though we have a number of players that are going to be coming back into the team. That was a worry for me tonight. I also thought we faded in the game as well as we got to sort of 35, 40 minutes in. Then you started to see changes and it wasn't really happening for us. I hated the change where we put Mount out onto the left, completely ineffective in every single which way. And I would have rather started the game with Wheatley. And I'll tell you why I would have rather started the game with Ethan Wheatley. I don't think he's particularly great, but at least we'd be using someone who is a striker, and it would give us a better idea of how we're going to play next year. Sancho and Mount being up front, you lose a kind of focal point in many ways. Equally, where I don't want to be too hard on the team is I was looking at our starting lineup, and I'm thinking Rashford potentially, maybe Cass, Onana, Ahmad could be in there. 4 maximum, though, of the starting lineup tonight are starting our Premier League games when everybody is fit and well, especially the defensive line. So I can be forgiving of some of the mistakes that certain individuals made because I don't think they're going to be a huge part of Man United going into next year. It's a little different watching Chelsea tonight, making consistent mistakes. When you think Enzo and Caicedo and Dewsbury Hall and Tosin, the majority of the people that started their games tonight, barring Palmer coming back, and who else? You could argue, there's another player I'm forgetting, Jackson, is a lot of their first team. So, you know, with the Sandro still to come back, Lenny Euro, hopefully De Ligt coming into the team, Mainu coming in, Ugarte, Bruno, Garnacho, I expect there to be a big improvement in this side. But what this does highlight is, although I'm happy with a lot of the things we've done so far this summer, the Man United squad still needs work. 3 at least, 3 additional in this position are needed. And I am looking forward to the majority of the first team squad. Luke Shaw, his name I forgot to mention as well, returning. Because when we start to scratch beneath those guys, we start going deeper into our squad, the lack of quality is massive. And Liverpool exposed that in front of the world that was watching tonight. And this is why I've said to Man United fans, keep your feet firmly on the ground, praise the elements that you're happy with, but understand that this is a long process. Unlike Matey Boy, who said that because we've spent loads of money in the past, we should be aspiring to win the league this year. I'd love to be in a position to try and win the league, but we're not there. It's 11 years of malpractice, 11 years of mismanagement. We've got a Frankenstein squad with a lack of overarching quality, fitness, availability, and it's going to take a number of years to fix. So I'm not fuming with everything that's gone on. I think there's a few moments of realization tonight. Looking forward to the squad joining, but new signings are definitely going to be needed. On Liverpool, before I bring KJ out, on Liverpool, very, very simple to me. I think they need a couple of signings to genuinely win the league, but I think they're going to be in this title race for a considerable period. They're a shoo-in for top 4. And I think it's more shrewd. My early prediction for the season is it's more shrewd business from Edwards in terms of bringing in Arne Slot. I think he's going to take over from Jurgen Klopp very, very well indeed. And that's what well-run football clubs do. What a game. Man United 18 shots, Liverpool 9. Liverpool goalkeepers had 8 saves. Not mad with the loss. We have a better style of play. And listen, that element's true. We created opportunities tonight. We cut through this Liverpool team who weren't quite at full strength, but still had a number of their first team players out there. That lack of clinical edge is a slight worry for me. But do I think Rasmus or Xerxes scores the header that Sancho has? Do I think Bruno buries Mason Mount's chance? Potentially, as an example. Do I think Rasmus or Xerxes finishes Ethan Wheatley's chance? I'm talking the big ones. Probably. So there are things to be positive about. And even though the result is a little bit embarrassing, the young lad Rashford will come good. Give him time. Again, I thought we had a decent first half, to be honest with you. I thought it was okay. I don't know why he was taken off. Maybe it was a knock from the other day. I was interested to see what he did in the second half. There was a turn he did on Kwanzaa in the first half, which was majestic. But again, I don't even know. It probably will start the first game of the season because of the lack of match fitness everybody else will have because of the international tournaments. But yeah, look, let's see what he does this season with a new star. KJ is here with me. Disappointing result tonight for United. Liverpool looking strong. I will actually get your opinion first of all on Liverpool. I know that in the group chat, you've been fairly complimentary of Liverpool over the course of pre-season.
Yeah, I mean, the games I've watched them play and the how they've been playing has been very, very good. And Arne Slot started his life at Liverpool very well, in my opinion. He's clearly got his style of play across to the players. The players are on board, and the way that they move their ball is dangerous when they're on it. And then we were on them for the first 15, 20 minutes. I was like, okay, cool, this is good. But every time they had the ball for at least 5 minutes, they were threatening. They keep the ball very, very well. All the players know where they need to be, and they're creating chances. And yes, we created more. We had more shots, but they created chances that were more threatening, that caused more goals than we did today. So they are getting the ball in the right areas. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, right, actually, I know it's taken a while for them to be active in the transfer market. We're yet to see if they will actually sign another player. But they are in a good spot. They're in a good spot. As a Liverpool fan, I don't think you should be panicking. I do think if they do sign 3 quality players, maybe even 4 quality players, then they can challenge for the league, hands down. And now Liverpool fans, they're doing this weird thing right now where if you say them, they can challenge that is a negative and how you're trying to bring us down by setting us up to fail. But there's really a compliment. The fact that your greatest Premier League manager has left your club to be in a position where you can say, actually, no, you can go again and potentially challenge for the league, your club. So don't take it negative. And now people will be semantic and be like, oh, but you're saying we must challenge. I'm not saying you must challenge. I'm saying you could. And as Liverpool fans, be excited that you can do that. If you don't expect that from Slot and the team, cool. But don't cower away from the fact that you could challenge because you've got a good team and your manager is starting life well.
And that's where me and you disagree. I think they should challenge. And the reason I think they should challenge is because the people running their club are exemplary. I'm talking about Michael Edwards and his team. This is not the same as Wenger leaving Arsenal or Man United losing Sir Alex. And I'll tell you as to why. Man United, when they lost Fergie and David Gill, had clowns running the club after that, making mistake after mistake after mistake. Liverpool fans don't think they've got clowns running their club in Michael Edwards and co. When Wenger left, they still had all the idiots that were running the club that kept Wenger there for all those years. And it wasn't until after the failed project with Unai Emery that they made all those changes behind the scenes, as an example. But still, with Arteta and co, they were taking over an empire that had already crumbled. Liverpool's empire that's been built in the last decade hasn't crumbled. Slot has inherited a very good squad. He's inherited a club in a very good position. The circumstance and the scenario is very, very different to that of Man United or Maresca going into Chelsea, or when Arteta took over at Arsenal. The scenarios and the position of the football club are in very different positions. Now, we didn't know in the summer of 2013 what we know now about what was going on behind the scenes at Man United. But we all expected, and the world expected, David Moyes to try and challenge for the Premier League.
Yeah.
So that's why, for me, I'm keeping the energy the same. And this, Liverpool fans can take this as a dig if they want. I think they want to do the underdog story, but they absolutely should be looked at as a team that has the ability. And all I've said is that you should challenge. I haven't said you should win the league. I haven't said you should beat City, but I think they should be challenging. And having watched them against Arsenal and Man United, you add some of their players returning and a few signings, I just don't see any reason why they can't challenge. Personally, I think Slot looks like an excellent manager. It isn't like they're suddenly trying to playing away where they're being exposed all over the pitch and there's confusion and problems and issues. They look really compact. They look really competent. They look like the chemistry has remained the same. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't notice in those 2 games that Klopp weren't on the bench. I know it's only pre-season, but I wasn't sitting there. I sat there a few times and went, oh, yeah, Slot on it. I didn't feel like there was a huge difference. I didn't look at it and go, oh, you can tell Klopp's gone now. Didn't think that in any capacity. So, yeah, they should be challenging, in my opinion. But I'm only saying that because I'm praising how they run as a club, how good their squad is, and how good their manager is. And if that offends you, I'm saying your team's good, fair play. Go on, mate, go on.
No, but we live in this world where everyone is so scared of being bantered that even a compliment is people are preempting, oh, it's a setup to gas me to say something wild, and then later down the line when we fail, they'll come back at me and say you said this. Like, everyone's on this, like, relaxing it. Like, not everything's for banter, and especially on the terrace anyway. Maybe on other platforms, but here we have genuine football conversation, and the genuine consensus is that you guys are looking very, very good. And listen, if I was a Liverpool fan, I'll be excited for this season.
Yeah. I don't think it's all Liverpool fans, but there is a percentage, I think, that want to be played down as got a chance of top 4, that's it. And then if they did something miraculous, like challenged or won it, they could go, oh, no one saw that coming. Nobody thought we could do it. There's an interesting super chat here that says, why does everyone talk about buying players and not improving the players you have? We have Gravenberch to step up. You have Mount, 60 million, improve them. Okay. I think it's a fair challenge, but I want to throw some names out here to you, my friend. Why did Jurgen Klopp and your club sell Skirtle and Joe Allen and Ibe and Benteke and Mamadou Sakho? Origi was loaned out. Why did you do this? Why did you remove those players? Why did you get rid of
Mignolet, Karius,
and buy Alisson? The problem is you can look to improve certain players, but at the same time you've got to buy. So I actually agree with you about Liverpool. I think Gravenberch should be given another opportunity, but I still think you need to add new blood. I still think you need to add new talent to a squad, and a lot of the time it's about keeping your current players on their toes. Oh, someone's come in, plays in my position, makes them work harder. As they say, pressure creates diamonds or it bursts pipes. But yeah, so you've definitely got to buy players, in my view.
Yeah, 100%. Maths. If I said to you, actually, you know what, you shouldn't have done a DM because Endo's there. You need to improve Endo. Well, what would you say? Like, yeah, let's go for it. You picked Gravenberch for a region, because you believe he's a player that can get good, right? So not every player you have can be improved. Sometimes they hit their ceiling. Sometimes the quality is just not there, and you just have to move on and replace them. No one's saying you need to replace the entire squad of Liverpool for you to win a league. there's 3 or 4 maybe improvements or squad depth players that you could buy that are currently better than the players you got now, who then take you up to that level to win the league. That's all it is, man. Like, no one's expecting you to spend loads of money. And hey, listen, we have Mason Mount for 60 million. I'm telling you now, he's capped. We've hit his ceiling, and he ain't getting any better for Man United. That is just my personal opinion. I feel for him because it's not all of his fault. Obviously, his injuries have played a part, and I think the way he ended at Chelsea has really affected him. But other than that, yeah, like there's no way. And I'm about to say Anthony, but he ain't improving either. But there's no way Mount's improving at Man United. I think that's what we see of him is what we get.
No, I hear you on that. And look, there is still the possibility that Liverpool could fall off slightly, but I'm basing my opinion on having watched them play so far, and I think that there's a lot to be encouraged about as a Liverpool fan. You know, I did say a couple of months ago, of course there's and I joined in with a bit of banter and things like that, but of course there's a possibility that they go backwards, and there's also the possibility they play really well but don't quite get over the line, which is why I said challenge, because the reason why you got over the line many times with Klopp is because Klopp was a world-class elite manager. We don't know if that's Slot. Slot might get you to a certain point, like a Brendan Rodgers, and then you not quite make it over the line. We don't know what we don't know yet. But the challenge, I think it's there. But that is what it's set up to slate when we don't win the league. And this Liverpool fan says, Terry, you're saying that if we don't, you can go in on us and put pressure on Slot. We're not stupid.
Get over yourselves. Honestly, get over yourselves, man.
If you have watched me, okay, if you have watched me long enough on the football terrace, you know I don't operate like that. You know I don't behave in that way. You know that I don't. I'll criticize you when you're poor. I will have some fun at times because we all do. The irony is Maradon's in the chat. Hope you're well, mate. It gives me shit on every single show. It's part and parcel of what we do. But what I'm not going to do, and by the way, there are some Liverpool fans where if I said I don't think you can challenge, would also slag me off saying I'm being biased and preying on your downfall. What I will never do is change my opinion based on people's emotions towards the pressure that it might put upon them. I'm just being honest with you. This here says, last week you were slagging Liverpool's management for the contract situation. Now you were saying Listen, this is the thing, Johnny Sins. It's a really good challenge. I did mention that when the boys were bringing it up. I couldn't believe how many players were down to their last year of their contract. But the man I'm praising for overseeing this summer, Michael Edwards, he wasn't at your club when they all got run down, was he? He wasn't the individual that was in. There's no way if Michael Edwards was at your club for the last 3 to 4 years would this Trent and Van Dijk situation be ongoing. Those players would have been sold a year or two ago or have new deals. So again, the people now running your club, the person who has picked the manager, needs to improve. Equally, every single club in the world, even the best run ones, will make mistakes and do things wrong. And those particular circumstances can be criticized in isolation, as opposed to what I didn't do is making an overarching statement saying you are done, you are finished. Now, just because somebody else is ranting about it doesn't mean I won't laugh if they say something funny, because I'm allowed to have humor, my friend. So there's no flip-flopping in that agenda whatsoever. Example being, I've liked lots of things that Ineos have done at Man United. But if we sign a player tomorrow that I don't rate, I can criticize that in isolation. It doesn't mean I'm against everything. But thank you for the challenge, my friend. Really, really good challenge. As an Arsenal fan watching the game, Man United should be excited about their season. They are playing some great football. How did you see United's performance tonight, KJ?
No, there was some good pieces of football that we played. We've seen a lot better than we saw than last season. I think the system as a whole is getting better. Yes, there were some counterattacks that we faced, but we actually had more men back to help defend them than normally. Normally it'd be like a 5v2 or 4v1, and it's just like, how on earth do the opposition not score? But this time we had a 3v3 in one of the counterattacks or 3v2. So we're getting the system slowly getting better. There were slight tweaks from the Betis game, like the two centre midfielders, that they weren't close to the centre back because there was only one centre midfielder and an inverted fullback, and I don't think it worked as well. But overall, we we're making some good chances. Our players can't find the back of the net as per usual. Hopefully that changes within the season, but there were parts of that game I was very happy with, and I was like, I could see where we're trying to go, and I'm like, yeah, like let's get more of that in the season. Hopefully, with better players coming in, we can improve on that and start seeing some real good games from us. But then, as the match goes on, we have obviously where we are at really and truly is that we can't sustain that for more than 25 minutes. And the quality drop from our first team or first team players to our squad players and some of our academy players is huge. It's very, very big. Like Casemiro was dreadful today. Toby Collier, he's had a good preseason, but he was awful today, causing that second goal needlessly. And it's just one of those ones where we really got to see where we're at. And as a Man United fan, I'm not angry. I'm not sitting here saying that the season's over, we're not gonna do anything. But at the same time, I look at it, I'm like, you know what? We actually need to be grateful for a fifth place finish this year. You know what I mean? If we get fifth, I think it's a good year. If we get Europa League, hopefully I think that's what we should be aiming for. We've had a decent year. Like we are in a start of something that we have not been through since Fergie came here, which is rebuilding, which is starting over again, which is bringing in new people to help with the process. And it's going to take time. We can't get rid of all of the players or the deadwood in one summer. We can't buy all the players that we want to improve us in one summer. It's impossible. So we've got things to build on. Yes, there's some things to be happy with, but we've got to remember, at the end of the day, we're not there, man. We're not there. Liverpool are better than us quality-wise and technically-wise. Arsenal are better than us. Man City are better than us. And then you've got people in and around us like Villa, West Ham, Newcastle, Chelsea, Spurs. We don't know where we'll end up around them when it comes up to compete against them. So, decent game. Unfortunate about the scoreline. We should have scored some more goals. We need more quality in that midfield. We need more cover in that center in the defense. And then hopefully we could have a fifth place finish, maybe push for top 4 maybe next season.
There's a comment that came through that made me laugh, and it says, "Nah, man, said fifth is a good year. The state of this club."
Yeah, exactly.
And that's exactly it. We are in a state, an absolute state, as a football club, and it's going to take time to fix this. And this is the irony, Adam. And I hope you're well, Adam, and I hope you're doing well. I don't think we're talking about coming fifth every year is a great thing. And do you know what's happened? I think. And Arsenal fans listening, please let me finish my sentence before you get cognitive dissonance. Wenger and being happy with finishing in the top 4 race, I think is almost, and the banter and the ridicule that Arsenal and Wenger got for winning the top 4 trophy, I think it's created a level of delusion within the footballing world. Year 1 in a genuine rebuild where we're being gutted and we're starting again, finishing 5th or finishing 4th, not being in a title race, but improving the football, hopefully winning a domestic trophy is fine. It's only if you start settling for that every year, no matter what you spend and no matter what you do, and if the club doesn't try to improve on that, you're accepting of it, that's where it becomes a problem. From where we have been, we've got to start growing. Now, of course, idealistically, Adam, would I love 4 more signings now? We get De Ligt, we get Mazwari, we get Ugarte, we get Zubimendi. Rashford next year scores the most amount of goals he's ever scored. Højlund scores 30 goals. Bruno scores an assist, 50 goals like he did a few years ago. We barely leak goals. We click. The football's amazing. We win the league. Oh, mate, I'd love that. I'd love to sit here and go, do you know what, guys? I was wrong. We improved within a year. How goddamn amazing was that? The problem is I don't believe that is realistic. Now, I hope it happens, but what I hope happens shouldn't dictate my opinion around what I think will happen and what I would be accepting of year 1 within a new club rebuild. So I do think there's a fundamental difference here. This idea that because you're happy with the first year's results, that I'll give you an example. There are people like, for me, I don't have as many subscribers as KSI. But that doesn't mean I can't be happy with my growth and progression as a YouTuber over the course of a year. Because that probably means that most people in this chat could never be happy with their lives if we applied that logic consistently, because none of you watching are probably in the top 50% of the most successful human beings on planet Earth. Therefore, you can't ever be happy with your life, can you? Because you don't have that level of success. It's about building up, and it's about understanding your situation. It's about understanding where you are as a person and setting realistic expectations year one. And yeah, this idea that Man United fans have no standards because of what KJ just said, Adam, I appreciate your opinion, but I do think you're wrong. Sorry, Maradon here says, where are your goals coming from for United, Terry? And don't say Højlund or Xerxes. So we can't mention our strikers, but where are they where's the goals coming from?
Well, you clearly saw Rashford's threatening today. You clearly saw Ahmad has had a good preseason. There's two sources of goals there. We had Garnacho to come back, got Bruno to come back. You know, you can goals out of them. If for some reason McTominay stays, there's another person for goals, and Jadon Sancho, I believe, has been decent this preseason, and if he stays, we know he's a player capable of scoring goals and getting assists. So, listen, Man United, we've struggled for goals for the last couple of years, but it wasn't too long ago. 3 years ago under Ollie, or 4 years ago under Ollie, where we scored over 100 goals in all competitions. We had a strike force that had plus 15 goals each. So let's not do this, man.
And I think as well, if Maradon, you've obviously, look, you're a Liverpool fan, I believe. You know, you've stayed up tonight and watched their game. You watched the game the other night at 3, 4. You know, you're staying up till 3 or 4 in the morning to watch Man United games. So I do respect you as a Liverpool fan doing that. Tonight, I get we played you, but you watched the other matches. You know as well as I do that if the chances that were created in those games fell to the Rasmuses, the Xerxes, the Rashfords, the Brunos, we'd have probably scored an extra 4 or 5 goals in this preseason tour in America. So do I think we're going to be the highest goal scoring team in the league? No. Do I think we can score 15 to 20 more goals collectively compared to what we did last year? I think so. This here says a genuine rebuild. What is that? So it's only a rebuild if you get everything you need. No, that's because a genuine rebuild can still foul. What a genuine rebuild is, some clubs like to, and fans like to pretend they're in a rebuild. So, for instance, some Liverpool fans I say, "Oh, we're in a rebuild now because Klopp's gone." No, you're not. You know, you've got your new stadium, you've got brilliant training facilities. The people running your club have been there before. The squad isn't going to have this huge, massive overhaul. In fact, it isn't even in need of a huge, massive overhaul. Your title contending worthy. You need new blood, like every squad does, almost every single year. It's why Pep and Fergie, the greatest 2 managers ever in the Premier League, consistently buy players every year. But that isn't a rebuild. What Man United are going through is new board, new key football decision makers, new scouts, new medical team, new training facilities, new stadium, and the squad being overhauled, a new style of play, and the work being delegated out in a different way. Nearly every single facet of the football club is being ripped apart and rebuilt. That's what I call a genuine rebuild. Now, a genuine rebuild can fail still because it doesn't mean you get it right. That's why, my friend, in life, you evaluate a plan versus execution versus the fruits of that labor, the yield. But we do need, and we are starting a genuine, some of it's literally happening as well with the stadium, a genuine rebuild of the football club is happening.
It's funny when people hear rebuild, it's like, oh, how long does it take to finish? And then that means you've won the league after your rebuild, because rebuilds mean no, like people keep mentioning, but what about Jose's rebuild or Van Gaal's rebuild or Ollie's rebuild? Yes, we tried to rebuild with them and it failed because we had the wrong people in charge. We suck.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, people that, like, you know, you can build a building multiple times until you get it right, you know? Like, there's nothing that says, you've made your house now, can't improve it again.
Yeah, no,
can't change it at all. That's it.
It's crazy. It's genuinely crazy. And I understand there's I think there's multiple facets to this. So I think first of all, what you have is you just saying you're in the rebuild, so you have an excuse not to win. No, that's not in any capacity. That is a weak straw man argument. Because in 3, 4, 5 years, I'm not going to be sitting here going, we're in year 1 of the rebuild. I'm going to be saying, what the fuck have we done? We're 3, 4, 5 years into it. Where's the improvement? If we're failing, that is, of course. So it's not about an excuse or a comfort blanket. It's the reality of the situation. also, when I say genuine rebuild, I am being very specific to Man United, because the club has spoke of rebuilds in the past, but it hasn't been until after the fact that we've learned that nothing really changed. It was a Fugazi rebuild, almost like you've seen those memes of a guy that's sitting on his roof pretending to be working. He's just banging a bit of wood and drinking beer and listening to a game. That's almost what our rebuilds were. The club are making a lot of noise, but in reality, we didn't change anything. But you know what we'll do? We'll stop this accountant doing the transfer negotiations, and we'll put this accountant in to do it instead. Yeah, we did see some change with Myrtle and co, especially around the youth side of things. But generally, we haven't been through. We haven't had since Fergie and his team. We haven't had genuine football decision makers at our club in 11 years. So yeah, it is a genuine rebuild, and it's going to take time to fix 11 years of malpractice. By the way, the same people that will say, look at the state of your football club, equally when we say it's going to take a long time to fix that state, go, no, you should want to fix it straight away. So it's either a really bad mess or it's not. Which is it?
We've got a comment here that says, terrible analogy, it's not economically viable to tear down a house 6 times. But, mate, we have built the house poorly and it's unlivable. So what else are you supposed to do?
But the thing is, it's the most accurate analogy. I'll tell you as to why. Because Man United's economical situation has been damaged because we have consistently failed to rebuild the team, the club, the squad. We're hemorrhaging money. We're in massive debt because of how poor our club has been run. So if I've got £500,000 to build a house and I keep employing builders who do bad jobs, I don't oversee it properly, and the building inspectors come along and it doesn't get signed off, it's going to keep costing me money. Eventually, it's going to have to be ripped down again. It'll be condemned by health and safety, condemned by the local authority, and it would have to be knocked down and rebuilt again. So when you say terrible analogy, no, it isn't. It's literally the most accurate analogy you can give about.
No, Terry, I've got a simple analogy for him, just for you to help you, because I know you guys, some of you, especially you, my friend, are very simple, and you need some things done simply for you. It's the story of the 3 little pigs. We are the pigs who built the house out of straw and out of sticks. And when the big bad wolf kept coming down, blowing on the house, he kept blowing it down because it was built poorly. The big bad wolf are the teams in the Premier League. It's the trying to win the Champions League. Those are the tests that we went through. We'd fail. Now we're trying to be the pig with the brick house. That's what we're doing, my friend. So we're trying to be the smart piggy.
Yeah, it's genuinely crazy. There's a comment that I read a second ago that said 10 years of rebuilding. Exactly.
Yes.
That's I'm failing. What I find interesting about the Man United situation is in one breath people say, look how terrible you are, your squad isn't good enough, it's going to take years to fix. When you as fans, and by the way, me and you have been in this reality for a long time, say, look, I'm happy with the start, but it's going to take years to fix. What do you mean it's going to take years to fix? Why aren't you demanding that it's fixed today? Well, because I'm not a fucking idiot. But a minute ago, the same person said it's going to take years to fix. When we say it's going to take years to fix, that don't suit the narrative.
They say our club is awful. We're sitting here saying, yeah, you're right, our club is bad, so we need to fix it. And they're like, oh, how dare you say that?
It's weird. But it's like the reverse of, and I'm not saying it's all Liverpool fans, by the way. A few people said it's not all of us, and I know it isn't most of you. But it's like the same Liverpool fans that if I said I don't think you could challenge for the league, you hate us. I really think you could challenge for the league. You're trying to set us up for failure. It's almost like whatever you say, if we turned around and said, I think we're going to challenge for the league, those same people would say, delusional, you're nowhere near good enough. It's just you are listening to respond, and you're not listening to understand. You're looking for the banter. You're looking to try and disagree with us. But in reality, you know that we're absolutely right.
Copium would be saying, so right, guys, there's actually nothing wrong with Man United. Like, it's just the manager. We just replace the manager and we'll be all good and we'll be challenging the league for next season. That is what copium is. Not actually, if you look at all the list of things that's wrong with this club, it's actually going to take like 5 years to fix and potentially win a Premier League. That's not copium. That is the reality of the matter. And guess what? It's taking longer than we thought. When, as Man United fans, we thought we'd be back by like 2 years after Fergie. We're not here, and it's 11. So we are here sitting humbly saying, we've got work to do. We're going to keep working, and try and get better. And apparently we can't do that. So it's just one of those ones where you want us to be flipping Usain Bolt with
people do that on match reactions throughout the season. Arsenal will lose, and it'd be like, "Gal, what went wrong today?" Saliba had a bad game, and I really thought that Declan Rice was weak in 2 or 3 tackles, and Saka missed so many good chances today. He was really poor. Excuses. That's not an excuse. That's just giving the reasons why you thought excuses would be it's raining.
It's raining. Or sometimes it's the ref was so biased when he wasn't.
The floodlights were so bright, the players couldn't see correctly. It's so strange because people just want to hear that the bog standard, my club's just rubbish. This year says we didn't even play with a DM, nor did we. There's a joke in there somewhere. United fans overrated Ineos. I'm not actually reading that one out there, my friend. That's crazy. Better style of play. The main thing for me is we got a score because no one will talk about how we played, just that we lost 3-0. We should have knocked 3 or 4 past them. Yeah, we really should have done. And I did think, especially second half, our Scotty didn't score is crazy.
Yes,
and then Ethan Wheatley should have buried a chance. And if we go in losing 3-2 even, it becomes a very different sort of reflection of a game. Why does everyone talk about... we've already done that super chat there. Pre-season means nothing overall, to be honest. Not the same. Listen, Jack, and you could very much be right. Liverpool could end up having a bad season after having a decent pre-season. Man United could, win their opening 10 games. I doubt it, but it could happen. I see Arsenal fans at the minute kicking off and going crazy about how their pre-season's been rubbish compared to the last 2 years. Well, yes, because half your squad isn't there this time around, which is interesting because, again, it's all about timing. I actually would have preferred a pre-season where all our players were together because we're trying to build something new. But it's horses for courses. As an Arsenal fan watching the game, United fans should be excited. Sorry, already done that one as well. Besides Martinez, do you have any leaders in defence?
No, and that is a problem. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We need to fix that. And we're trying to get the licks to help with that. But hey, apparently we can't fix our club because we've been rebuilding for too long. So we should just get relegated,
Yeah. I will say it with chest, no chance Chelsea finishes above you.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that right now. They easily could.
Chelsea, they've got some problems at the back. And the only thing I would say that's different about our game today and theirs is that they were playing with the majority of their first team. And if we'd have played if Lissandro was out there tonight and Yoro was out there and we had Xerxes in the team, maybe if we only had a couple of players missing, if Bruno and Garnacho were missing as an example, like they had, and we had everybody else there, and we got beat 3-0, missed our chances, made loads of defensive mistakes, I would probably be a little bit more worried. However, I've been very fair with Chelsea. It's really difficult to judge them until you've seen them kick a competitive ball. Just because we've got no idea about Maresca. At least with Slot, we've seen him play, in the Eredivisie, we've seen him play European football. There's such a bigger sample size of him as a manager. With Ten Hag the same, but it's a difficult one. Terry, can you predict the top 6 in order? No, not yet. I'm not doing that until... I don't even like doing it before the season starts. I like to do it when the transfer window shuts.
I like to do it at game week 37, personally.
Yeah. But it's just when the transfer window... you could predict it, and then with 2 beginning of the season, and then Liverpool go and sign Kimmich and Osimhen, and then you go, well, I said Liverpool were coming 3rd. You then might go, well, that's got to change now. So it's hard to do until the window shuts, really. Klopp was a stubborn man tactically. I think that a midfield that has had a season together and a more technical Liverpool can be in the fight for the Premier League. Listen, Morton, you could be. Listen, you really could be. And sometimes sometimes new managers improve you. Sometimes, and that's why I get when a good manager leaves, there is a feeling of, well, you can go backwards, but I don't think that happens if you're well run, does it?
Do you think Liverpool fans would still hold Klopp as high as... So okay, let me caveat this. Klopp won 1 Premier League in 9 years, competing against Manchester City, right? What if Slot in 3 years, in 5 years, does 3 Premier Leagues? Who do you think they're going to say is better?
Well, this is again. I don't know who they say is better, but this has happened in Liverpool's history. I would probably say that Bill Shankly is the most famous and most loved manager in Liverpool's history. Doesn't mean I don't love the others, but that's me as an outsider. But Bob Paisley, that came in after Shankly, took them to another level in terms of winning. Then I think they went on to Joe. I want to make sure I get down. Joe Fagan, who I think won a trophy or two, was there a couple of years. And then they went on to Kenny Dalglish, that then won more trophies than him. So that was an era where they went from their greatest ever manager in Shankly, 3 more managers running were all winning major trophies. So this idea that they're going to go backwards massively, and I've thought a lot about this over the summer, and I got caught out with this. It's based on Man United and Arsenal going backwards to begin with, but our clubs weren't being well run. And unless, again, if you're a Liverpool fan that thinks you're poorly run, then I actually understand your opinion more. But if you trust Edwards and trust your squad and you trust other people running your club, I don't see why the result is, definitely going backwards. Your club has got a history of not doing that. Liverpool are 3 upgrades: DM, left centre back, right wing, away from competing for the league. De Ligt, Mazwari are injury prone. Ten Hag to be sacked by Christmas. Well, he could, listen, if he doesn't improve us, he absolutely could be. I'm very, very open to that idea. Look, I want to thank everyone that's tuned in, and that's very, very late here in the UK, or early, depending on which way you look at it. Everyone that has tuned in, I want to say a big thank you to each and every single one of you. We're back tomorrow with more content, including the top 6 show as well. In fact, is there any, no, I don't think there's any friendlies on it like that time tomorrow. Maybe it's the following week. I just want to double check. Tomorrow is Sunday. Is there any friendlies tomorrow?
No, tomorrow. Well, technically it's Sunday now. So
yeah, I'll just check if there's any. No, I thought there might. No, there's not. That's cool. So we're live at 6 p.m. for the Straight Facts show. So make sure you're all tuning in. Until next time, people, take care. Goodbye. God bless, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Peace.